Okay, today is 5th of August. We are on the Khandha-samyutta, chapter 22 of the Samyutta Nikaya. Now we come to Sutta 22.59. This is a very important sutta. It's called the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta. This was the sutta that the Buddha spoke to his earliest 5 disciples. And after hearing this sutta, all 5 of them attained arahanthood. See whether any one of us here attained arahanthood. That's what I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Varanasi, in the deer park at Isipatana. There the Blessed One addressed the monks of the group of 5 thus, "Monks, Noble Sir," those monks replied. The Blessed One said, "Monks, body is not self, for if monks, body were self, this body would not lead to affliction, and it would be possible to have it of body. Let my body be thus, let my body not be thus. But because body is not self, body leads to affliction, and it is not possible to have it of body. Let my body be thus, let my body not be thus." Similarly, feeling is not self, perception, volition, consciousness are not self. For if monks, these aggregates were the self, then these aggregates would not lead to affliction, and it would be possible to have it of the aggregates. Let my aggregates be thus, let my aggregates not be thus. But because the aggregates are not self, the aggregates lead to affliction, and it is not possible to have it of the 5 aggregates. Let my aggregate be thus, let my aggregate not be thus. Stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha says that the 5 aggregates, body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness, which are basically body and mind, the last 4 being components of mind. So the Buddha says that these aggregates are not self. If the aggregates were ourself, then we would have control over it, and they would not become sick. But because they are not the self, so they constantly become sick, and we have no control over them. What do you think, monks? Is body permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent suffering or happiness? Suffering, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent, suffering and subject to change, fit to be regarded thus? This is mine, this I am, this is myself. No, Venerable Sir. Similarly, is feeling permanent or impermanent? Is perception, volition, consciousness permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent, suffering or happiness? Suffering, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent, suffering and subject to change, fit to be regarded thus? This is mine, this I am, this is myself. No, Venerable Sir. Stop here for a moment. You see here how the Buddha asks these questions. He goes one by one. He goes through form, and then he has a set of questions. Is body permanent or impermanent? And then they say impermanent. What is impermanent? Does it give rise to suffering or happiness? And then they say give rise to suffering. So what is impermanent and gives you suffering and always subject to change? Is it fit to regard it as I and mine? And they say no, Venerable Sir. And he repeats the same questions for each of the other aggregates. That means all the 5 aggregates. He goes through one by one to drive home the point that these aggregates are a source of suffering. So since they are a source of suffering and we have no control over them, it is not fit to assume they are I and mine, because when you cling on to them as I and mine, they give rise to suffering. So you see a lot of the Buddha's discourses are like that. He repeats the point to make it clearer. Therefore, monks, any kind of body whatsoever, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, all bodies should be seen as they really are with correct wisdom thus. This is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself. Similarly, any kind of feeling whatsoever, any kind of perception, volition, consciousness whatsoever, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, all Aggregates should be seen as they really are, with wisdom thus. This is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself. Seeing thus, monks, the learned noble disciple experiences revulsion towards body, revulsion towards feeling, revulsion towards perception, revulsion towards volition, revulsion towards consciousness. Experiencing revulsion, he becomes dispassionate. Through dispassion, his mind is liberated. When it is liberated, there comes the knowledge it is liberated. He understands, destroyed is birth, the holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. This is what the Blessed One said. Elated, those monks delighted in the Blessed One's statement. And while this discourse was being spoken, the minds of the monks of the group of 5 were liberated from the asavas by non-clinging. That's the end of the sutta. So you see, since the Buddha makes them see very clearly, and they can see very clearly when they listen to the Buddha's words, because they have attained the jhanas, and they see things as they really are, as the Buddha says. The condition of seeing things as they really are is a focused mind. So the Buddha drives home the point that these aggregates are a source of suffering, and we have no control over them. And it is not fit to cling on to them as this is I and mine. Then the Buddha is urging them to let go. And so they see the point and they let go inside, let go, and they become liberated. 22.60. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Vesali in the great wood in the hall with the peaked roof. Then Mahali the Lichavi approached the Blessed One and etc. and said to him, Noble Sir, Purana Kassapa speaks thus. There is no cause or condition for the defilement of beings. Beings are defiled without cause or condition. There is no cause or condition for the purification of beings. Beings are purified without cause or condition. What does the Blessed One say about this? Stop here for a moment. This Purana Kassapa mentioned here is one of 6 leaders of external sects, other religious groups, and they have different teachings. Some of them, like Makaliko, Salaputta, say there's no such thing as karma. You can kill a lot of people and there's no sin and all that. So this one says there's no cause or condition for things to happen. It just happened by themselves. It just happened by chance or something like that. So this man is asking the Buddha, what is the Buddha's opinion? And the Buddha said, there is, Mahali, a cause and condition for the defilement of beings. Beings are defiled with cause and condition. There is a cause and condition for the purification of beings. Beings are purified with cause and condition. But Venerable Sir, what is the cause and condition for the defilement of beings? How is it that beings are defiled with cause and condition? And the Buddha said, if Mahali, this form were exclusively suffering, immersed in suffering, steeped in suffering, and it were not also steeped in pleasure, beings would not become enamored with it. But because form is pleasurable, immersed in pleasure, steeped in pleasure, and is not steeped only in suffering, beings become enamored with it. By being enamored with it, they are captivated by it, and by being captivated by it, they are defiled. This Mahali is a cause and condition for the defilement of beings. It is thus that beings are defiled with cause and condition. If Mahali, this feeling were exclusively suffering, immersed in suffering, steeped in suffering, and if similarly, if perception, volition, consciousness were exclusively suffering, beings would not become enamored with it. But because all the aggregates are pleasing, are pleasurable, beings become enamored with them. By being enamored with them, they are captivated by them, and by being captivated by them, they are defiled. This Mahali is a cause and condition for the defilement of beings. It is thus that beings are defiled with cause and condition. So here the Buddha says, beings are said to be defiled because they are captivated by body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness. And being captivated, they crave for these five aggregates, so they are said to be defiled. For what, Venerable Sir, what is the cause and condition for the purification of beings? How is it that beings are purified with cause and condition? And the Buddha said, if Mahali, this body were exclusively pleasurable, immersed in pleasure, steeped in pleasure, and it were not also steeped in suffering, beings would not experience revulsion towards it. But because body is suffering, immersed in suffering, steeped in suffering, and is not steeped only in pleasure, beings experience revulsion towards it. Experiencing revulsion, they become dispassionate. Through dispassion, they are purified. This Mahali is a cause and condition for the purification of beings. It is thus that beings are purified with cause and condition. Similarly, if Mahali, this feeling were exclusively pleasurable, this perception, volition and consciousness were exclusively pleasurable, beings would not experience revulsion towards them. But because the aggregates are suffering also, beings experience revulsion towards them. Experiencing revulsion, they become dispassionate, and through dispassion they are purified. This too, Mahali, is a cause and condition for the purification of beings. It is thus that beings are purified with cause and condition. It's the end of the sutta. So here the Buddha says, the five aggregates, they are a source of suffering. At the same time, they are also a source of pleasure. So those beings who see them more pleasurable than suffering, they would crave for these five aggregates, the body and the mind, and so they become defiled. But people who are more mature, they feel that the aggregates are more suffering than pleasurable, and so because of that, they feel revulsion for the five aggregates, and feeling revulsion, they become dispassionate. They no more crave for them. So that is the purification of beings. So it depends on how mature, spiritually mature the being is. If the being is spiritually immature, then they want to crave for all the worldly pleasures, sensual pleasures. But beings who are mature, spiritually mature, and they see that it is not worth it. The suffering that we derive from clinging to these worldly things is so much. It's not worthwhile. The pleasure is not worthwhile. Then we let go. Come to the next sutta, 22.78 at Savatthi, page 913. Monks, in the evening, the lion, the king of beasts, comes out from his lair. Having come out, he stretches himself, surveys the four quarters all around, and roars his lion's roar 3 times. Then he sets out in search of game. When the lion, the king of beasts, roars, whatever animals hear the sound are for the most part filled with fear, a sense of urgency and terror. Those who live in holes enter their holes. Those who live in the water enter the water. Those who live in the woods enter the woods. And the birds fly up into the air. Even those royal bull elephants, bound by strong thongs in the villages, towns and capital cities, burst and break their bonds asunder. Frightened, they urinate and defecate and flee here and there. So powerful, monks, is the lion, the king of beasts among the animals, so majestic and mighty. So too, monks, when the Tathagata arises in the world, an Arahant, Sammasambuddha, accomplished in true knowledge and conduct, fortunate, knower of the world, unsurpassed leader of persons to be tamed, teacher of devas and humans, the enlightened one, the blessed one. He teaches the Dhamma thus: such is form, such is origin, such is passing away. Similarly, such is feeling, perception, volition, their origin and their passing away, and consciousness too. Then monks, when those devas who are long-lived, beautiful, abounding in happiness, dwelling for a long time in lofty palaces, hear the Tathagata's teaching of the Dhamma, they are for the most part filled with fear, a sense of urgency and terror, saying, "It seems, sir, that we are impermanent, though we thought ourselves permanent. It seems, sir, that we are unstable, though we thought ourselves stable. It seems, sir, that we are non-eternal, though we thought ourselves eternal. It seems, sir, that we are impermanent, unstable, non-eternal, included within identity. So powerful, monks, is the Tathagata over this world together with its devas, so majestic and mighty. This is what the Blessed One said. Having said this, the Fortunate One, the teacher, further said, when the Buddha, through direct knowledge, sets in motion the wheel of Dhamma, the peerless teacher in this world, with its devas, makes this known, the cessation of identity and the origin of identity, also the Noble Eightfold Path that leads to suffering's appeasement. Then those devas with long lifespans, beautiful, ablaze with glory, are struck with fear, filled with terror, like beasts who hear the lion's roar. We have not transcended identity. It seems we are impermanent. So they say, having heard the utterance of the Arahant, the released, stable one. That's the end of the sutta. So here the Buddha is saying, just like the lion, when the lion roars its roar, all the animals panic, including even the royal bull elephants, which are supposed to be so brave and can fight in the wars and all that, can withstand arrows and blows and all that. But when they hear the sound of the lion, they panic and they so frightened that they urinate and defecate and run here and there. In the same way, the Buddha says that when the Buddha arises in the world and similarly roars his lion's roar, that means sets forth the Dhamma, teaches the Dhamma, even those powerful devas and devis who live for a long time, when they hear the Dhamma, because they have psychic power, they can know when they contemplate what the Buddha is teaching. Then they realize suddenly that they are not eternal, that they are not immortal. They thought they will never die because their life is so long, millions and millions of years. And suddenly they realize that they have to die. And they know when they die, there are woeful plains of rebirth awaiting them. So they get very frightened. They panic. So powerful is the Buddha. The next sutta, 22.79, at Savatthi, the Buddha said, monks, those ascetics and Brahmins who recollect their manifold past abodes, that means past lives, all recollect the 5 aggregates of clinging, or a certain one among them. What 5? When recollecting thus, monks, I had such a body in the past. It was just body that one recollects. When recollecting, I had such a feeling in the past. It is just feeling that one recollects. When recollecting, I had such a perception in the past. It is just perception that one recollects. When recollecting, I had such volitions in the past. It is just volitions that one recollects. When recollecting, I had such consciousness in the past. It was just consciousness that one recollects. Stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha says, the ascetics who are able to see their past lives, those who have psychic power, when they look into their past lives, when they refer to themselves in the past life, they always to refer to themselves as that body, that feeling, that perception, volition and consciousness. So they always refer to the 5 aggregates as themselves. And why, monks, do you call it body? It is affected. Here it says, why do you call it form? And it says, it is deformed, monks. Therefore it is called form. Deformed by what? Deformed by cold, deformed by heat, deformed by hunger, deformed by thirst, deformed by contact with flies, mosquitoes, wind, sun and serpents. It is deformed, monks, therefore it is called form. Let's stop here for a moment. The Pali word for form or body is rupa. And here it says it is deformed or affected, is rupati. So body is so called because it is affected by the environment and be changed by the environment. That's why it's called body. But another way of defining body is that which the seeing consciousness is aware of. It is the body, is the object of the eye organ. the external object, the eye organ. What the eye consciousness is aware of is body or form. And why, monks, do you call it feeling? It feels, monks, therefore it is called feeling. And what does it feel? It feels pleasure, it feels pain, it feels neither pain nor pleasure. It feels, monks, therefore it is called feeling, Vedana. And why, monks, do you call it perception? Sanya. It perceives, monks, therefore it is called perception. And what does it perceive? It perceives blue, it perceives yellow, it perceives red, it perceives white. It perceives, monks, therefore it is called perception. Stop here for a moment. This word perception, sanya, it means perception means we have a certain conception. For example, we think the color is blue or yellow or red. But somebody else who might be colorblind would perceive it differently. So, for example, like you perceive that this lady is beautiful or that man is handsome, but somebody else may have a different opinion. But the Chinese translation is xiang. Xiang is more of thought, right? So it's not a very good translation. So because here it says it perceives blue, yellow, red, white. So you can understand it is a perception rather than a thought. And why, monks, do you call them volition or conditioners? They condition the condition, monks, therefore they are called volition or conditioners. This word, they condition the condition, is sankatang abhisankaronti. Sankata is the condition. Everybody agrees that the word sankata is condition. This abhisankaroti is to condition the condition. You see why I say so. And what is the condition that they condition? They condition form as form. They condition form as form. They condition feeling as feeling. They condition perception as perception. They condition volition as volition. They condition consciousness as consciousness. They condition the conditioned, monks. Therefore, they are called conditioners. Now, this word sankhara, here they translate as volitional formations, and which I generally translate as volition. This word sankhara, in the 5 aggregates, sankhara always means volition or free will. Okay? But this term has a general meaning. Here they talk about the general meaning is that it is a conditioner because it conditions other things. So like volition is also a conditioner because when we use our willpower, we condition something, right? You use your mind to do what you want, to change whatever you want, or to. So the mind is a form of conditioner. The volition is a form of conditioner. But always remember, in the 5 aggregates, the word sankhara refers specifically to volition. Not like here they're talking about a general conditioner. Why, monks, do you call it consciousness? It cognizes, monks, therefore it is called consciousness. And what does it cognize? It cognizes sour, it cognizes bitter, it cognizes pungent, it cognizes sweet, it cognizes sharp, it cognizes mild, it cognizes salty, it cognizes bland, it cognizes, monks, therefore it is called consciousness. Well, this one I think you can understand. Therein, monks, the learned, noble disciple reflects thus: I am now being devoured by body. In the past too, I was devoured by body in the very same way that I am now being devoured by present body. If I were to seek delight in future body, then in the future too I shall be devoured by body in the very same way that I am now being devoured by present body. Having reflected thus, he becomes indifferent towards past body. He does not seek delight in future body, and he is practicing for revulsion towards present body, for its fading away and cessation. I stop here for a moment. Here he says, I am being devoured by form, or devoured by body. What it means, you are being eaten, you are being scourged, you are being irked, you are being vexed, you are being annoyed by body. So body gives you a lot of suffering. That's why he says, I am being devoured by body, eaten up by body, eaten here and there. So what he's trying to mean is body is a source of suffering. Similarly, he reflects, I am being devoured by feeling, by perception, volition and consciousness. In the past too, I was devoured by these aggregates in the very same way that I am now being devoured by present aggregates. If I were to seek delight in future aggregates, then in the future too I shall be devoured by the aggregates in the very same way that I am being devoured by present aggregates. Having reflected thus, he becomes indifferent towards past aggregates. He does not seek delight in the future aggregates, and he is practicing for revulsion towards the present five aggregates, for the fading away and cessation. Stop here for a moment. So you see, remember that day we read that if a person is practicing for revulsion towards the five aggregates, he is a learner. He's an Aryan disciple. He understands the Dhamma that we should practice for revulsion of the aggregates. What do you think, monks? Is body permanent or impermanent? Similarly, they say impermanent. And what is impermanent? Suffering or source of happiness? And they say it's a source of suffering. And then what is impermanent? Suffering and subject to change. Is it fit to be regarded as this is mine, this I am, this myself? And they say no, verbal sir. So the Buddha goes through the same process of asking each one of the aggregates. They answer in the same way. Then the Buddha says, therefore monks, any kind of body whatsoever, any kind of feeling, perception, volition and consciousness whatsoever, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, all the aggregates should be seen as they really are with correct wisdom thus. This is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself. This is called, monks, a noble disciple who dismantles and does not build up, who abandons and does not cling, who scatters and does not amass, who extinguishes and does not kindle. And what is it that he dismantles and does not build up? He dismantles body and does not build it up. He dismantles feeling, perception, volition, consciousness and does not build it up. Stop here for a moment. Dismantle and not build up means he practices towards the cessation of the five aggregates, not the building up of the five aggregates in a future life, in a future body and mind. And what is it that he abandons and does not cling to? He abandons body and does not cling to it. He abandons feeling, perception, volition and consciousness and does not cling to it. And what is it that he scatters and does not amass? He scatters body and does not amass it. He scatters feeling, perception, volition, consciousness and does not amass it. And what is it that he extinguishes and does not kindle? He extinguishes form and does not kindle it. He extinguishes body and does not kindle it. He extinguishes feeling, perception, volition, consciousness and does not kindle it. Seeing thus, monks, the instructed or the learned noble disciple experiences revulsion towards body, revulsion towards feeling, perception, volition, consciousness. Experiencing revulsion, he becomes dispassionate. Through dispassion, his mind is liberated. When it is liberated, there comes the knowledge it's liberated. He understands, destroyed his birth. The holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. This is called, monks, a noble disciple who neither builds up nor dismantles, and who abides having dismantled, who neither abandons nor clings, but who abides having abandoned, who neither scatters nor amasses, but who abides having scattered, who neither extinguishes nor kindles, but who abides having extinguished. And what is it, monks, that he neither builds up nor dismantles, but abides having dismantled? He neither builds up nor dismantles body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness, but abides having dismantled them. And what is it that he neither abandons nor clings to, but abides having abandoned? He neither abandons nor clings to body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness, but abides having abandoned them. And what is it that he neither scatters nor amasses, but abides having scattered? He neither scatters nor amasses body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness, but abides having scattered them. And what is it that he neither extinguishes nor kindles, but abides having extinguished? He neither extinguishes nor kindles, body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness, but abides having extinguished them. A monk is thus liberated in mind. The Devas together with Indra, Brahma and Pajapati pay homage to him from afar. Homage to you, O thoroughbred man. Homage to you, O highest among men. We ourselves do not directly know, dependent upon what you meditate. That's the end of the sutta. So, a lot of these suttas are quite similar, except that here this sutta it defines, it explains what you mean by body, what you mean by feeling, perception, volition and consciousness. At the end it says, if a monk has become liberated and become an arahant, even from far away, the devas will pay respect to this arahant.